West Holloway putting a huge capstone on this title reign with the back-to-back wins over Jose Aldo. The winning streak is now 12. 9 of those are finishes. And I just felt like Jose, I felt good about him. I felt like he was in shape. I wasn't worried about the scale. I think he was playing games a little bit, Kenny. I think twice now, Max Holloway has beaten a very game, very in shape, close to 100% prime Jose Aldo. Is that fair?
I think so. I really do. And you look at Jose, he was doing great. Obviously, once again, it was the same thing. It was kind of the exact same fight replayed. And it was Jose Aldo, who is a 100-meter sprinter, and Max Holloway was able to fool him into saying, yeah, we're going to do that 100-meter race. But then it became 400 meters and 800 meters, and Jose Aldo just could not keep up that pace. Max Holloway did a brilliant job of just steadily increasing the speed, and Jose thought that he needed to stay with him. Jose Aldo didn't try to reset. He didn't use his footwork to circle away. He got caught brawling in that last round against Holloway, and that's exactly what Holloway wanted. Holloway knew that he could withstand the punches, he could withstand the pressure, he could withstand the pace, and he knew that there was going to come a time where Aldo wasn't going to be able to do that. And we've seen Aldo really thrive against guys who try to take him down. I think the reason is it gives him that ability to really rest and relax and reset. But if you're striking with him consistently and you're keeping that fast pace, I don't think he can do it. A lot of guys that are fast twitch, that try to keep a pace with a guy like a Max Holloway, who's kind of that marathon-style runner, you just can't do it. Aldo isn't able to have that endurance. And again, for a lot of people saying, oh, well, he needs to work on his conditioning. Listen, he's been fighting for a very long time. He was a champion for a long time. He's gone 5 hard rounds before. Does anybody remember that rematch against Chad Mendes, how crazy that fight was? Now,
I think it's the greatest fight in UFC history.
Yeah, one of the best fights, man. I was watching that on my honeymoon. I was like, yeah, hold on, I just got to see the rest of this fight. It was insane. And he went 5 hard rounds. Now, the question is, why isn't Aldo able to do that now? Was it because now he's dealing with more, he was dealing more with a grappling style in Chad Mendes, and a lot of guys thought that the way to beat Aldo was to take him down? Or is it now that people are figuring out you got to keep that high, fast pace? Or should some credit go to Conor McGregor for knocking him out cold, taking away his confidence, and perhaps taking away his chin?
I think there's something there, but I still believe that Jose Aldo, and this performance in particularly, had some merit. I mean, Max was limping out of the cage. He did go to the leg kick. I guess I just feel like, Kenny, if I'm a Jose Aldo fan, I can defend this performance and this approach even, because I feel like he felt like the only way – I feel like inside he's thinking the only way I'm going to beat Max is if I go for it. And I have enough confidence in my power that if I can land one upstairs and follow up and try to finish this guy, I don't think he expected he was going to be able to beat Max over 25 minutes or even last 25 minutes if he didn't finish Holloway. So I felt like it was just sort of a balls-to-the-wall approach there in that third round. And certainly I can understand why you and others would maybe criticize it. I guess I just feel like he felt like he was up against it. Like Max just – I don't know, man. I just never felt like Max – was in any jeopardy of losing either fight, even though Jose got off early in the first fight and established the leg kicks in the second fight.
Listen, I think you're right. But, again, Aldo, he didn't have to just sit there and just start trading and throw bombs with someone like Max Holloway. But I think you're absolutely right. I think that's great analysis, actually, is the fact that for Aldo, who took this fight on short notice, he probably knew, I can't go 5 hard rounds with someone like Holloway. Holloway doesn't get tired. Holloway can do 10 rounds. He's like that Tony Ferguson type guy, as you and Joe, so astutely put it, that he can go forever, and he's not going to quit. He's not going to slow down. In fact, in a lot of ways, those guys just get stronger as the rounds go on. So I think you're right. I think Aldo probably felt like he probably had to go for it. The only way he was going to win was get the finish. But how about this? Why not go for a takedown? I think maybe he shot or attempted once to try to clinch with Holloway. Why not try to put Holloway on his back, especially early on in the fight, to try to slow him down? But again, Holloway is a brilliant fighter. He's very, very good. He's very, very smart. I think this is a guy who could hold on to that belt for a very long time. And again, as much as I'm a huge Frankie fan, I don't know if Frankie's going to be able to pull that off. I think he
Yeah.
brings together, obviously, brings a style that's very different than someone like a Jose Aldo. But how do you deal with that reach, man? Holloway is just too big, too rangy, has an amazing chin, amazing conditioning. He's not too shabby on the ground either. You saw what happened when Aldo tried to go to the ground with him or when he tried to play off of his back. Holloway's
Right.
just all over him, man. This is a very special fighter that I remember very well. When I saw him at 22 years old, he was waiting in line to weigh in. I went up to him. I said, "You're going to be a champion one day." And he appreciated the comment, and I'm not sure if he believed it himself, but boy, is he coming to his own as a fighter.
And he doesn't necessarily wow you, right? I mean, it's not. It's just he is just so good and pretty clean. And go ahead, kid.
No,
What do you got?
exactly. I was just going to say, it's that guy who does all the little things well, all the fundamentals, everything he just does perfectly. It's nothing spectacular with this amazing power, amazing speed, or, this crazy submission ability. It's just, this is a guy who's been doing the fundamentals since he was a kid. Obviously a guy who's involved in a lot of fights, I'm sure, in Hawaii. So believed in himself and had that experience. But a guy who has been brought up very well and trained very well.
Yep. And they just have a great system in place and a new gym. And Yancy Medeiros tells me the coaches are trying to get better, right? It's not just the fighters. It's just an amazing family. And Yancy also said, too, all these guys trying to get their suits tailored, we're tailor-making champions, I mean, Yancy is no fucking joke, and I can't wait to get to him. As far as Max Holloway is concerned, Kenny, we got to call UFC 143. Remember that movie theater pay-per-view we did, right? And that was his UFC debut. He was 20 years old. It was that mounted triangle armbar, I think, that Dustin Poirier pulled off. Hasn't been finished since. That's the only time he has been finished, I believe, in his UFC career. I don't believe he's ever been knocked out as a professional. So he's now 19-3. He's won 12 fights in a row. It's one of 7 double-digit winning streaks in UFC history. And remarkably, a lot of these, Kenny, are active right now. Double-digit active winning streaks in the UFC. Max Holloway, Tony Ferguson, George St. Pierre, and Demetrius Johnson. John Jones's streak, I guess, technically is no longer active with at least one no contest in there. So, but it's amazing that of those 7 double-digit winning streaks in this era of parity in a lot of respects, right, and how closely matched all these guys are, that 5 of those 7 winning streaks are active, and Max Holloway's got one of them. And so as we spin it forward, Ken Flo, for Max, going to be tough for Frankie Edgar. Perhaps he will be next. Of course, we've got T-City, Brian Ortega taking on Cub Swanson this weekend in a main event. The timing is nice for Cub and T-City here. If they could get a win and a finish, maybe they could cut the line. Swanson's already had a shot at Max Holloway, but you think it'll be Frankie Edgar next for Max at 145 pounds?
In my opinion, without a doubt, Frankie Edgar deserves it most of anyone out there right now. I think it's an interesting style matchup. But again, I think Holloway is a special fighter, man. I'll probably be releasing my pound-for-pound rankings again this week, and I'm putting Holloway up, man.
Well, and I'll tell you, I said going in, and I'm doing a lot of radio interviews leading up. I don't know if I said it here on the famed Anik and Florian podcast, FoxSports.com, but that he might be the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world right now, and it's just because DJ's there, and DJ has 11 title defenses compared to 1 for Max Holloway. But look what this guy's done at 145.
And again, look at his fight against Conor McGregor back when he lost. And again, Conor McGregor, of course, he tore his ACL during that fight. But you think Max Holloway is the same fighter that he was when he fought Conor McGregor way back when? He's improved leaps and bounds since then. He's a completely different guy, physically, mentally, spiritually. I think this is a rematch that we may see. I think it has legs, and these guys have gone back and forth, of course, a little bit on Twitter, talking trash a little bit, which I like, and don't be surprised if we see this rematch. I think that might be one of the few fights that McGregor may cut down to 145 for if it becomes really, really big. And you know what? Holloway will probably chase him at 155. So
I mean, do I need to put a tattoo on Conor McGregor never weighing 145 pounds as long as he lives? Is that what I have to do now? Do I have to...
listen, if there's enough money, he'll do it. Why not?
All right. We got it. I mean, I just don't see it, Flo. I love you, but I mean, I almost give it the same odds of you cutting down to that weight again, right? Like I feel like it was some similar pain for him as it was for you. I know you're a bigger man than he is, but I don't know, man. I see that rematch happening at 155.
Could be.
And in terms of Holloway and the historical context, Kenny, he's just getting going, right? So, I mean, maybe he's the greatest featherweight of all time. It's harder to make a case for Aldo with the 3 losses now to Max and Jose, obviously. But those who suggest that Max is not the best featherweight of all time and that Conor McGregor is that guy, I'm not going to argue with you. I think Conor has a case, but I can make a stronger case for Holloway, largely rooted in the fact that he has more than twice as many UFC featherweight fights than Conor McGregor does, and I believe he has more than twice as many featherweight wins as Conor McGregor as well. So also, Kenny, in sort of putting a bow on Holloway, and I got a couple more things on Jose Aldo, I asked Max on Tuesday, can you guarantee me that you'll compete at 155 pounds, before your UFC career is said and done? And he says, I can guarantee you I will compete at 185 pounds before my career is said and done. Max said he wouldn't even tell me what he walked into the octagon at against Jose Aldo for the first meeting in terms of how much he weighed, because he said I wouldn't believe him.
Wow.
So
interesting.
He's cannonball coming for Ken Flo and Diego Sanchez as the only 2 fighters in UFC history. But he wants to be a champion in 4 of them, and fuck if I'm going to put it past him.
Well, this is what I'm saying, man. This could be a guy, again, let's say he gets to that BJ Penn status, which he could totally surpass. Now you're talking about a huge fight. That's a huge money fight. If he gets to that BJ Penn status, and BJ's a guy that